Welcome to the Marshall News and View Show. I'm Elaine Conyers, and my guest today is Brad Gruhot, who is the director of the Marshall Area Chamber of Commerce. And it's been a while since you've been here. I'm so glad you could come back and get us up to date on everything that's going on with the Chamber. So many things have been taking place with the Chamber and with Convention Visitors Bureau and Economic Development, all that kind of work out of that same space. And really, really happy and pleased to see so much good planning going on with our chamber. And now that you're the director, you're in charge of all that. And and I know we've had a real busy year, and the chamber year goes from October 1st till the next October 1st. So that's coming up again. So, well, tell us, first let's hear about some of the things that have taken place. Maybe people haven't been around this summer, if they go up to their lake cabins or whatever, and don't know what's happened in the area. So, and we've had a lot of things going on.
Right, absolutely. Summer is a busy time for families.
Oh, yes.
Myself, I am a coach in the summer for my son's baseball team, but there's just so many things for everybody to do, not only in Marshall, but in the Marshall area.
Yes.
This past summer, my goodness, what did we all have? We had crazy days in July, and of course then we got into the fair a couple of weekends ago, and then we just got done with Sounds of Summer, and what a kind of a crazy weekend for Sounds of Summer. Everybody wants to be outside, but what a nice plan B it is to have the Red Baron Arena for everybody to go to, and it worked out just fine. They had to scramble last minute, but it worked out just fine. The inflatables fit, the where the band plays, that fit in there just fine. So a lot of good things from the summer. Of course, way back in June, the Red Baron Arena itself had its open house. Now they're going to be having their grand opening on September 8th. So that's upcoming. So you're right. People are going to their cabins, but if they want to have something to do in Marshall, there's no shortage of things to do. Right. And not only in Marshall, but the surrounding area. Right. Of course, Belgian American Days and Boxcar Days and all these other smaller towns that surround Marshall have all their weekend festivals that people can go enjoy too.
And a lot of those people from the surrounding area come to whatever is going on in Marshall, and vice versa.
Right.
So it's just a wonderful way that to have that much activity going on, and it's great. So just to touch a little bit on this past weekend with the Sounds of Summer, that was quite a shock to have to change it all set up at the parking lots downtown, and the tents were there yesterday when I drove by anyway. And people were kind of really disappointed, but at the same time they said, but we're so lucky that we have the arena that we could go to. Where would we have gone? Where would they have set it up? I don't know, because there aren't a lot of big places in town that could take care of that.
Right, and it was nice to have it as a plan B. Thankfully, if they didn't have it, each evening, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evening, it turned out to be really nice nights. But you never know. You don't know that earlier in the day. And Minnesota's always got the craziest weather, especially on Saturday during the parade. There's popcorn storms throughout the whole day. You didn't know whether to have it indoors or outdoors. And so it was just kind of nice to say, all right, we're just going to do it indoors. The weather was a little bit cool. Let's just go with this, and it's nice to have that plan B action.
That's great. Well, I'm sure with the end of your year coming up here now, the 1st of October, you have lots of ideas and plans put forward for this coming year.
Yeah.
What are some of starting with this fall, is there anything, I'm not just talking about events now, but things that the Chamber does in the area? Well,
not only is there Chamber events, but what else can we help promote? I touched on earlier, the Red Baron grand opening is on September 8th from 3:30 to 6. If you haven't been out to the arena, you've had several chances. Let this be the time you go out and see it. It is nice to see. The scoreboard is a sight to see in itself. That same weekend, Hopfest is going on. The Brow Brothers parking lot. So it's always kind of a fun time, lots of music. What else do we have going on this upcoming fall? Not only we have a lot of chambers events. One of the things that we're going to try to touch on this upcoming September, we have somebody from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce coming in to speak about this new overtime rule that President Obama had an executive order on. So a lot of businesses are affected by this. We're having somebody from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and we're having the HR person from Runnings come in to speak on this rule. And we have had a lot of people. We have about 40 to 45 people already coming to that. So that's coming up.
Yeah.
The Downtown Walkabout is coming up. Of course, that's a really popular event downtown. Yes. It's a good way to showcase our businesses downtown. So that's kind of exciting. And then, gosh, October, November, and before you know it, it's going to be Small Business Saturday, and the holidays are here already.
That's right.
So, yeah, it's just, a lot of things going on this upcoming fall, and it's kind of exciting that it's just always something to do.
Yeah. Now, when you talk about this overtime thing, I'm completely unaware of that. What they're giving out rules as to how much overtime can be used, or what's it all about?
Well, I'm going to be learning a lot about it myself.
Okay.
I don't really have a really good grasp on it. I just know the threshold goes for if you are hourly and the wage goes up if you're hourly. I don't really have a good handle on it, so I'm going to be learning quite a bit about it too. It's not great for business, but it is something that a lot of our businesses are curious about, and goes into effect on December 1st.
Okay. Yeah, so, December, you say?
December 1st.
Yeah, well, that's something that everybody will be watching for next time you come back, or so. You can explain that to us, because that sounds really interesting.
It is. It is interesting. It's not great for business, but so that's where we're trying to offer this up. The guy from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, his name is John Kirshner. He's actually a Marshall native.
Oh, really?
His mom, I believe, is Randy Kirshner, who used to be out of downtown. So it'll be nice to have him back in town, and he's excited to come back to speak on this. He actually covers the Midwest region for the United States Chamber. Wow. So it'll be nice to have him back in town.
Yeah. Well, great. Mm-hmm. And then this event out at Brow Brothers, that's been going on for what, 2-3 years?
This is its third year. Yeah.
Third year, and that is a homegrown business, so to speak. Well, it actually started over in Lucan, but they came over here 3 years ago, and it's another example of local business people starting things here in Marshall, and that's, we've had several of those, like way back with Schwann's, started here in Marshall, and then there was Runnings and Relco, and it's just great that this part of the state is helping to produce new businesses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The brewery itself, let's talk about Brow for a second. A lot of people come into town for this kind of thing. Breweries have really taken off.
Oh, yeah.
All over, not, Midwest region, Minnesota. I used to live in the cities. They're popping up all over. When you can put music and beer together, people will come into town.
Yeah.
So, and this is no different. They always had a good turnout. They have music throughout the whole day. There's actually a few things for kids to do during the day. So absolutely, it is worth coming to. I remember last year I had my jacket on in the evening. It was a really cool weekend, but absolutely, if you have never been to Brow Pop Fest, it is a fun time.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we like to have all those events and things to go to. I don't know about anybody else, but I get bored watching television sometimes.
Right. Just finished up with the Olympics.
Yeah, that's right. So, and then I know that the chamber has really grown the last 2-3 years. Let's see, how long have you been there now?
I've been back for 2 summers now.
2 summers.
2 years.
2 years. Yep. Okay. And so there's been a lot of recruitment of new members. Mm-hmm. And so what was this when you started? Do you remember?
We were at about 370 when I started 2 summers ago. Yeah.
Okay, and what are we now?
About 515 members.
Wow.
So
it just rely doubled then.
Yeah, it's a good deal too, because Marshall's really got a nice, strong business community. They rely on the Marshall Chamber to be the voice of business. I mean, who else is going to bring the opportunity to have somebody come and speak about this new overtime rule?
Yes.
The chamber is here for businesses. Yeah, so it has grown. We have about 80% of the Marshall businesses, which is huge, and it's one of the most highly saturated business or chambers in the whole state of Minnesota.
Wow.
There aren't any other business groups in the area, so we're a good resource, and I'm proud to be part of it, the growth for the Marshall Chamber.
Yeah.
You had mentioned Runnings earlier, and we just had a business after hours at Runnings in July.
Okay, yeah.
Or no, early August.
Oh.
I'm sorry. So it was early August, and we had it out at the new distribution center. Wow, what a place!
Yeah, I missed that, and I wanted to go so bad because that's something the way they're growing.
Right.
And they're growing across the nation.
Right.
Do you remember what some of the other areas are? That we're moving west, I know.
Right. Right. They're huge here, but they're also in the New Jersey,
even east.
In the New England area, and they kind of have a handshake agreement with some of the Mills Fleet Farms and some of the other close competitors. They kind of have a co-op of agreement where you're not going to really step on my toes if you're in the area. So it's kind of nice to hear that. And they found some open opportunities out up on the East Coast in the New England area for them to grow. The distribution center here is about 170,000 square feet. In fact, one of the places they have out, their other distribution centers are in Pierce, South Dakota, and the other one is up in Delaware or somewhere up there.
Okay.
And that's 280,000 square feet.
Oh my gosh.
So they have a lot of room to grow, and it was a really good event at Runnings, and that was one of the many finished construction projects that we've had here recently. And some of the other ones, of course, you drive on East College Drive, you see the Western Mental Health Center.
Yes. That's
under construction. You and I, today, we went to the first independent bank groundbreaking event.
Yes, yeah.
And the Schuneman equipment out on Highway 59 is going through some construction. So there's a lot of good construction projects down. So it's kind of exciting. I believe Warner Brothers Electric is building up over on 59. So there's some good projects.
Yeah. Great. Well, and then this also provides so many opportunities for employment in the area.
Right.
Just offhand, do you have any idea how many employees like Runnings has, or? I don't.
Yeah.
This is not a test question.
Yeah.
It's just.
They've told me before. I believe out at the distribution center itself is about, I believe it's between 30 and 40 employees out there.
So there's just a lot of opportunity for people in the area. And of course, both of us know that the statistics show that every day, or work day, I should say, 25,000 people drive into Marshall to work.
That's right. It doubles in size. Marshall is about, a town of 14,000.
Yeah.
And it almost doubles in size each and every weekday.
Yes. Yeah.
And then, of course, the weekends, if you have events like we've been talking about, well, you're going to get the same amount of people that are going to go to our restaurants, and you're gonna, baseball tournaments will be coming in town. Of course, we had baseball tournaments in July. The 13U state tournament was in town. So, it's those kind of things that make our businesses busy.
Yeah, exactly, and it brings in a lot of new things too, such as MnDOT is doing a lot of work to, of course, cut down on the traffic problems on Highway the 23 bypass, and they've been working on that for a couple of years, and that's being used fully now. But they're still there looking and making sure that that it is still safe, or there are other entrances and exits that they need to look at. And isn't this wonderful? Sometimes we felt that we're so outstate that some of the state agencies don't pay a lot of attention to us. Well, they sure are now. And it's so good, because they're also starting work on 19. Pretty soon. Maybe even, I think they put it off a couple of days, but anyway, there's stuff. And so because Marshall is a regional center, it just definitely is now, and there's no question about that. And I probably told you this before, but it's always been a regional center. But if you get that distinction, you can't just sit back and say, well, we're the regional center, we don't need to do anything more. Well, yes, you do. You have to keep working, you have to have vision, and you have to have the know-how, and you have to get it done to keep it a regional center. And with the efforts of the chamber, the city, and then economic development people, that is really happening, and we're so proud of that.
It sure is. I think back when I was in high school, in that area where the Menards and the Shopko and the Walmart is all field.
Oh, yeah.
And now you have all these big box stores over there with some of the local shops as well. It's those type of stores that are all together for a reason, because they bring in the people from the out of town on the weekend.
Yes.
And then you put the liquor store, the brand new Tall Grass Liquor there. They're not only going to go to the liquor store, but they're also I should say the backwards. They're going to go to the Menards, and then they're going to go to the Walmarts, but they're also going to stop by the liquor store on the way out of town.
Yes.
So, absolutely, the town has changed so much over the years, and that, especially that area, has really come together.
Yeah. Yeah, when we moved to town, that was cornfields and,
that's
and
right.
everything,
That's right.
and that was it. But then we also look, and this is way back to the late '60s. The decisions that were made back then, they were kind of questionable. For instance, we wanted to have the college come here, but Redwood Falls was really vying for it. And Redwood is at that point, was a more picturesque community. They had a nice river side, and there were sides along the river and everything like that. And they were closer to the Twin Cities. Well, Marshall took a real chance, and they thought, let's just go ahead and see if we can't really make this happen. So they went out north of town and bought that cornfield, and then they put in all the infrastructure. So when the decision was going to be made, the planner said, oh, Marshall's ready, let's go there. But you think about what a chance they took.
That's right.
But they did it, and we got it.
Right.
And we see that over and over again, and that's what it takes to continue to build a community.
That's right. Yeah, you think about what this town would be without the college or Schwann's, and it wouldn't be what it is today. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Two great organizations. Yeah.
That's right. And I think that too, when the you leaders at the chamber decided that, well, let's include the area. Let's make it Marshall Area Chamber, and you've had many people and even some towns that have joined.
That's right.
And isn't that something?
It is.
That's great.
It is. The city of Ghent and the city of Cottonwood are members of the chamber. I believe there's one city of Cottonwood, city of Ghent, and also we have, outside of those two, we have about 80 businesses that are not within the Marshall footprint that are part of the chamber.
Okay.
The Ghents and the Cottonwoods and the Tracy's. The city of Tracy is the other one. We actually have a special relationship with the city of Tracy because the EDA is underneath the Marshall Chamber's umbrella. So, yeah, it is truly the Marshall Area Chamber. If Marshall's does well, the smaller towns that surround Marshall do well as well, and it goes vice versa. Of course, Cal is not only the Economic Development Director, Cal Brink, for the city of Marshall, but also for Lyon County, so it's a good fit. And he's the executive director for something called the Discover Southwest Minnesota Partnership.
Oh,
so
okay.
It works out really well that we can all be one Marshall area.
Yeah, and I think when you mentioned that Tracy, the town of Tracy is a member of the Marshall Area Chamber, that's fantastic because, that's a pretty, it's not as big as Marshall, but it's always been somewhat of a competitor, and that they're willing to step in and say, hey, let's do this together.
That's right. Even the Belton Chamber of Commerce is a member of our chamber. We can help promote. So oftentimes in smaller towns, and I'm talking, anywhere from like 2,000 to 3,000 individuals, the chamber is the ringleader for like their town festivals.
Yes.
Okay. We're not the town festival kind of chamber. They are. So it's good that we can help them promote their Belton days. It's called the Fun Fest back in June or July or whenever it was. So that we can help promote that kind of thing.
Well, sure. Yeah. And I've had people come up to me, and maybe I've told you this before, but I'm sure our viewers have heard it, that, you're always promoting Marshall. And you know what? You don't even have a lake. I said, oh, wait a minute. We've got one over at Cottonwood, and then we got Lake Chautauqua.
Right, Lake Benton. That's right.
There's, you don't have to have it right there.
Right. Not very far away. Lake Cerro.
Yeah, that's right. I asked our engineer department one time, I said, we've got a lot of ponds in Marshall, and couldn't we connect them all and make a lake out of it? Well, that's a more difficult problem than what I imagined. Right. They're not deep enough and they're not close enough together, but they're very necessary, and the city keeps them looking very clean at this time of year, too. It usually gets, green growth in it and everything. And then I call it a slough, but, we have ponds in Marshall, not sloughs. But we're very, very happy to have that because that controls the water coming in. We are at kind of a low point here, and so we need something like that. Right. And our planners and everything have taken all of that into consideration as they help the city grow. They keep that in mind that, well, we have to keep track of how much water comes into our community. So lots of stuff going on. And you also, as a chamber, offer opportunities for not only chamber members but the public. You have, let's see, you'll have to help me with this. Young
professionals.
There we go.
Yeah, we have a really active group of Marshall Chamber young professionals. It is an opportunity for your 20 and 30-year-olds, but we don't actually have an age limit, so we can't do that kind of thing. But for them to come together, we have our membership is about 80 people now.
In that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and anywhere from about 40 to 50 people come. It is a good opportunity. We have tours and a lot of good opportunities. In September, we are getting a tour of beverage wholesalers. So you speak of Runnings, and you speak of Relco, especially out in that area off of Highway 68 or Highway 59. What is it called? Sonstegard Park?
Oh, yes.
Beverage wholesalers is another really nice, neat facility. Of course, our young professionals are really going to get a kick out of, beverage wholesalers. And once they go in the back and they see all the beer that's there, it'll be right up their alley. So. Anyway, so it'll be good. So we have that, and we have a really active group of Women's Connect as well. It's the same type of deal. Our membership is really strong with Women's Connect as well. They meet on a monthly basis. Your tours, your speakers. So every single month, and then in October, I wanted to touch on something else, Elaine. In the same building here at the college, or actually a building over, we have our Taste of Marshall.
Oh, yes.
That's October 24th.
Yeah.
And our Taste of Marshall is a really good way for our restaurants to showcase, what they have to offer. And we usually get about 17 to 18 restaurants, and about 380 people come to this event every single year.
I know it's a crowd, big crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of exciting. It's a Monday evening, October 24th. If you haven't been to the Taste of Marshall, you're going to start seeing some information on that really quick. It is a really fun event. Bring your spouse or bring your friends. It is a really nice event. Right around the same time, of course, elections are coming up, and as you are very well aware of. So we're going to be having some debates coming up between some of our legislators and city officials too. So that'll be coming up. We'll get some dates on that, and we'll certainly get that out too. So that's right around the corner. Election season. The commercials are starting to pop up already. So everybody's favorite thing to see on TV.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, it's like I say, the chamber has really helped the city of Marshall and the area to really grow. And I suppose we could talk a little bit too about, still there's some questions out there about, well, this Red Baron Arena, is it really going to make us any money? Everything has cost so much. Well, it's really has been pretty well taken care of. And as we see the year progress, we've got tournaments, I understand, hockey tournaments set up for this fall and winter, right? So
there are a few that are lined up already.
Yeah, so that it's nothing that we really worry about. And of course, that traffic into town is going to bring more business here. And that there'll be people are going to have to fill up with gas before they leave, and they're going to stop and eat and maybe do some shopping and so on. So it brings more people into the community. And it's so good for the hockey players and their parents that they don't have to drive so far. My grandsons they played hockey out of Maplewood, and they were in tournaments. Well, we'd have to drive all the way up to the Schwann's facility in Blaine. And every time we were there was a team, either girls or boys team from Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
They'd had to come that whole way. Nobody was complaining. They wanted to have this opportunity for the kids to play hockey in the tournaments. But now they don't have to go that far.
Right. And it all depends on which division they are in.
Well, of course.
And which tournaments are we going to line up here, whether it's Pee Wee or whatever the case. And I've never been through hockey myself, so I don't know what all the leagues are or the divisions are. But yeah, and not only with the hockey, we're going to fill it up with other kind of expos. We're trying to get those kind of things booked. But what's right around the corner is the new baseball fields that are being built out there too, and those should be ready to go next summer, because it takes an extra year of irrigation and getting those things ready too. So that'll be nice to have those ready for next summer.
Yeah. So there's lots of stuff going on, and do you have anything that you would like to mention that's way off in the future, or some big goal, or probably don't want to get into that, but
all right, I don't know. Between now and the next time I'm going to be on, I don't know that we have anything. Like I said, this fall we have, of course, the elections. We have the Taste of Marshall. November, December, we'll have our monthly events at that point. So I really don't have anything out of the ordinary. One thing we've talked about all our events, but one thing we forgot to talk about is our walkabout event.
Oh,
our downtown walkabout is September 15th through September 17th, and that particular event is a great way to showcase our downtown businesses. Sure. Have you been a part of the walkabout before?
Yes, and lots of people come for that too.
That's right.
Especially if the weather is good.
That's right. You stop by and get your game pieces at the chamber office, and then stop by all of our downtown businesses to get your game pieces filled, and then hopefully you can get registered for a prize after the end of the evening. So kind of a neat way. I don't know how long the downtown walkabout has been around. I know it's been restructured a few times, but I think it used to be called Witches Night Out, but I can understand why they would get rid of that kind of name.
Yeah, right.
So.
And then I actually remember that was more held more like around Halloween, of course. And people did have fun dressing up and so on, and play acting, scaring people and stuff. But that doesn't last for very long.
Right.
But
our downtown businesses, for the most part, they're all full. We don't have very many openings in downtown, so it's nice to see downtown do well.
That's right.
In fact, I would say that for pretty much the whole town of Marshall. There's not a lot of vacancies out there, so it's nice to see a lot of our buildings filled with businesses.
Right, exactly. Another thing I want to mention too is about your newsletter that comes out, and you list job openings. I've had people stop by my house and said, "Do you get that chamber newsletter?" I don't, and I'd like to see what the openings are. And what a good way to let people know. Oh, I had no idea that there was openings over there.
Right. One of the benefits for our members is that we have a free job board. So what that means is our members can log in, submit a job opening, and then those job openings go on our website, and then they also get transferred over to our Friday morning newsletter. So, gosh, you're right. If you're looking for work, take a look at our job board, because at any given time we usually have about 25 to 30 different jobs on that website and that newsletter.
It's just amazing to see, and so people realize that this is the place to come to work. Maybe they don't live here, but that's okay too, because they can enjoy the small town atmosphere and everything, but and just drive into town.
That's right.
Anyway, well, it's so good to have you back, and just want to thank you for coming, and also thank you for all the great work that you and your staff are doing for
Absolutely.
us. So,
Yeah, things are going well, and appreciate you having me on, and look forward to the next time you have me on.
yes, very good. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.